We now know the victim of Saturday's deadly boat crash near Mount Pleasant was a student at the Citadel. He has been identified as Cadet Evan Greenlee of Maryland. Police say a boat carrying 7 people crashed into a dock near Mount Pleasant after leaving Shem Creek Saturday night. The 6 other passengers who were injured have since been treated and released from the hospital. No word yet on what may have caused that crash. Now, the Citadel sent out a statement to everyone on campus today saying the member of the Corps of Cadets class of 2029 passed away over the weekend. General Glenn M. Walter says Greenlee was a mechanical engineering major who moved here from Bethesda, Maryland. The school says he was an exceptional classmate and member of the tennis team. Any cadets impacted by his death are encouraged to reach out to the number on the screen for support. That number is 843-953-4827.